This right here is my 2018 crash damaged Ford Fiesta ST, and it's not only been crashed once, but in its whole lifetime, it's actually been involved in 2 crashes. It was marked as a Category S in 2023 because that was the first ever time that this car was actually crashed. And in October 2024, the car was crashed again, and it currently looks like this. And now it's in my hands to fix. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a deeper look at this car to see if there's any hidden damage on it. And we're also going to be replacing this whole dash to fix this airbag situation that we've got going on. As you can see, the passenger airbag is blown, which means that we need to replace the whole dash, and of course the driver's airbag has gone off too. But first, let's investigate the car a little bit and see if there's any hidden structural damage that Copart didn't want to tell us about. Off camera, I've already removed the front bumper and the wing. This front bumper was actually only being held by 3 screws. There was 2 screws on top and 1 screw underneath the bumper. That was literally it. So I'm not even sure how this bumper hasn't fallen off in the past. If you're not aware, this is what some of the damage looks like on the front bumper, and as you can see, it's not really that bad. This side right here is where the crash happened, and straight away we can see this bracket or panel right here is actually bent a little bit, so this is going to have to be bent back this way so it kind of sits flush with this. You can also see that this is slightly bent. This is actually meant to be straight, and down here the intercooler is also damaged, but this doesn't seem to be a problem for now. We've also got some damage to the plastic casings here. This damage right here isn't even structural. Yeah, we've got the bracket that's a little bit bent, but that's not a big deal. I'm a little surprised that the washer fluid tank didn't break, but luckily we've got no cracks in it, so this doesn't need replacing. In terms of damage, that seems to be it. I've got a brand new wing sitting upstairs. We've also got a brand new, well, a second-hand bumper that's sitting in the car right now. I'll also need to buy myself a new coolant bottle because this is slightly cracked, and I've also got a new headlight on the way as well because the old headlight was damaged in the crash. But the plan is to leave the exterior alone for a little bit, and what we're going to do now is scan the car and see if we're getting any fault codes or any error messages that I'm not aware about. And then after we scan the car, the plan is to take this dash out and put a new dash in. I've actually got a whole new dash on the way because obviously the passenger airbag's gone off, which means that we need a whole new dash. So when that dash comes in, I've got Airbag Services UK coming around to fix this dash. So that's all going to be happening in today's video. I'm also hoping that I don't need to replace the seat belts, but we're going to scan the car and see what fault codes we get. Hopefully it's not too bad. So it looks like we're getting 2 abnormal codes for the restraint control module. So if I click on that, we can see that I've got a code for driver frontal stage 1 deployment control and passenger frontal stage 1 deployment control, which I'm guessing is the driver's airbag and the passenger airbag. Other than that, I'm getting no other codes. The only thing that I'm getting is the airbags. I've got no engine codes, nothing else. There's nothing else. This car is pretty much perfect, in perfect condition, other than these airbags. Right, we've now got Airbag Services UK here. So obviously the first step of this job is getting this whole dash removed. Got this brand new dash, or it's a second-hand dash, ready to go in. First step is literally taking this whole thing apart. It's a tedious job. It's a very long process, and I didn't actually trust myself with the airbag, so hence Airbag Services have come out to fix this for me because I don't want to mess around with the airbags, and I know if I'm going to start this job, I'm going to end up leaving a clip unclipped, and I'm going to get a bunch of rattles in the dash. So I think this job's probably best for the professionals. There we go. We've now got the airbag out already, literally 2 minutes. Airbags out. So I think we're gonna kind of do like a little process. We're gonna do the wheel, probably the center dash, the media thing, and then this main part is probably gonna come out. We're almost there. The dash is pretty much coming out. We've got everything stripped, and it looks like it's kind of half loose. Okay, nice. So now the final bit is just pulling it out and making sure the clips are tucked away. We're about an hour in, and this dash is pretty much ready to come out. Crazy. He's done it so quick. Oh, and there we go. A lot of screws later, and the whole dash is out. Look at that. Look at the state of this car. Mad. Look at that. So now the next step is obviously transferring the remaining cables and stuff across to this one because we've got a lot of snipped wires. And then I'm guessing this goes in, all the trims go back in, and then that should be it. It sounds easier than we're saying, because it's a tricky job. There's a lot of clips, a lot of hard work to get this whole dash out. But yeah, I'm also lucky that the seat belts haven't gone off, so we don't need to replace them. It's just the 2 airbags at the front. There we go. All the connections and cables are now fitted to the new dash. It just slots back into its normal spot. Got a lot, and I mean a lot, of clips everywhere, wires everywhere. There must be at least 15 clips and connections that power up this whole dash. And there we go, we've now got a full working dash, and this thing actually looks like a real car again. Now what we've got to do is read the code, see if we've got an airbag light, clear all the codes, and potentially reset the airbag module. So we're gonna jump on the scanner and we'll see what codes we get, and we should be good. At the moment, we've got no airbag light, which is really good. All faults have completely gone away. The only thing that we've got wrong with the car is a code for the headlight, and that is obviously because there's literally no headlight in there because it's missing, it's been damaged. And I'm still looking for a headlight. I can't find a headlight, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, one code in the entire car, and that's the headlight. We fixed it. Well, I didn't fix it, but look at this interior. Literally, we're 3 hours in, and the whole dash was stripped, new dash was put in, reset everything, and now it looks like this. Massive shout out to Airbag Services UK. They've literally come out, done this job in 3 hours, like I said, absolutely smashed it out. And if you guys need yourself any airbags done, whether you, any car, literally any car that you've got, whether it's a BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, whatever you've got, they'll come out to you and literally fix it on your driveway. Okay, it's now the next day and it's time to carry on fixing this car. Need to try and reverse it into a nice spot, and the fender liner right there is rubbing. I think it's rubbing because it's been slightly damaged here. You can hear it rubbing really bad. So that's going to need replacing. I think it got a little bit dented in the crash, and now it's just permanently messed up. So that needs changing at some point. But today we've got a bunch of new parts to fit to the ST. So that is the plan. You saw earlier the airbags are now fitted, so the interior of the car is done, and now we've got to focus on the damage on the outside. Right, so in this second half of the video we're going to be replacing a few parts on the crashed ST. We're going to be putting on a new wing, we're going to be putting on the new bumper, and we also need to replace this coolant bottle because it's cracked, and I don't want to be driving around with a cracked bottle that's got some weird sealant on it. And we're potentially going to be replacing this fender liner, but I know one thing that we're going to do is take this off because it is rubbing like crazy. Off camera I also put this bracket back into place. As you can see, it's now nice and straight. I also moved this bracket a little bit because it was pushing in the liner a little bit. And now we need to puzzle all the body parts back together, and this car will pretty much be ready for the road. So let's get going. Got a nice fresh wing ready to go on the ST, and this has just been freshly painted, so it's pretty much a brand new wing, and I'm hoping that it's going to match well with the color of the car, but I don't know. Let's get this wing put on and we'll see how it looks right after. Okay, so now this wing is on and the panel gaps aren't even that bad. All the bolts on, the bolts, there's some bolts in here, there's some bolts at the bottom, some bolts at the top. And if we go around here, this bracket from the crash was completely mangled. It was so bent far back that way. And I've just had to get these pliers and just pull on this bracket to bring it back up into shape because it wasn't lining up with the wing and it wasn't lining up with this bracket. But now everything's all lined up. These bolts are in, holding the wing and the bracket together. And now this plastic piece is also on. And what this does is this has a clip to clip in the headlight, and it also has these kind of brackety pieces to fit in and secure the bumper. And now the last piece of the puzzle is getting two little bolts just in there to hold this plastic piece together. And obviously it shouldn't fall off if the bolts are in, so yeah, let's get these bolts on. Hey, so this bracket's now all done, everything is fastened, and I've actually just test fitted the front bumper on this car, and look at it, man, it's actually really slowly coming together and it looks really good. Like, this bumper was obviously bought secondhand and it was already painted, and everything, all the paint is blending in really well. We've got like a weird panel gap here. It just starts to get a little bit thicker, and as you can see, this side here, it should be a little bit more flush. I think the bracket that's holding this bonnet potentially bent a little bit, and now it's like pushing everything this way, because as you can see, this isn't lining up very well, and neither is this where the headlight's sitting. So potentially I'll have to replace that bracket to bring the bonnet a little bit more this way. But yeah, I mean, for now this is looking really well. The bracket or the little mount that's holding the front bumper isn't underneath it, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of a panel gap here. But look at this thing, look at it, man, it's actually coming together so well, and I'm actually so proud of this. It's the next day. It's a very horrible rainy day right now, but it is what it is. I don't have a garage, so I've got to work outside. But on the list of things today is to get this new coolant tank fitted. Brand new, genuine coolant tank from Ford, because as you know, this one's cracked. So that's one of the jobs that we need to do today. It's very simple. What we've got to do is undo these two clips, this will come out, this will come out, coolant will drain. Hopefully this bucket can catch it. This new coolant tank then goes on. We need to kind of do like a self-bleeding procedure. Okay, job done. Old coolant bottle now out. Now this new coolant bottle needs to go in. This was very simple. You literally lift it off its hinges and then unplug the two hoses that connect to it. It's like a 5-minute job. Now this slides back on its own bracket. So there's a hole here, and then the brackets are here. There's one there and then one there. Once then this is inside, we just connect back the coolant hoses. There's one here, and I don't know where the other one is. Here is, this is the other one too. Quick self-bleeding procedure on the car. So I've got the temperature all the way up, I've got the fans all the way up, the coolant cap is off, and I've just got to let the car sit here for about 10-15 minutes. It's another day, which means that we've got to fix another issue with this ST. On today's list, we've got to fit this arch liner because the current arch liner that's on at the moment is pretty badly damaged from the crash and it's pushing against the wheel. So I got myself a brand new second-hand wheel liner. Let's get this show on the road. The first thing that we've got to do is take this wheel off, and I'm going to be using a nice new Ryobi impact wrench that they've sent out, and I'm quite excited to use this. So let's get this wheel off. Now this wheel should just come off. Yes, there we go. Right, wheel is off, and have a look at the state of this. There's nothing holding this arch liner in except for one bolt here and then another bolt here. That is literally it. That is crazy. Right, let's get this thing out now. 2 bolts later, this whole thing should now slide out, I believe. Let's see. No, it doesn't want to. It was just being a little bit stubborn, but now it's all out. Lovely. You can see these two side by side. This is where the wheel was rubbing. There's like a big dent here, whereas this one's nice and flat. Well, actually, I've come across another issue. I thought this washer, screen washer fluid bottle was actually fine, but we've got a crack right there. Don't know if you can see it. There's a big crack in the corner there. And there's also another crack right here. I don't know how I never spotted this. Went and picked myself a new washer fluid bottle, and I went in the M4, obviously, and look what I've just done. Look what I've just done. Whole splitter, cracked it. I managed to crack this splitter against some bump. Man, this literally just ruined my day. The splitter was on for like, what, 4 or 5 days, and it's already completely finished. But anyway, let's get back to fitting this. So this literally just clips on there with 2 bolts. I've just put the wheel on for a minute whilst I went, just in case something bad happened, because I don't really trust this jack. Like you saw, this liner just goes in with a few like clips. So let's get all of this mess sorted in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. The car's now kind of looking like a normal car again. We've got the arch liner in, the wheels back on, car's dropped. We've got the new washer bottle in, but I'm having a little bit of an issue with this bracket here. It's gonna need a little bit more bending because, yeah, something's obviously, because the car's been in a crash this size, something's just pushed this a little bit back. So I think this needs to come out a little bit for this washer bottle to sit a little bit more secure. We've got a little bit of an issue right here. Again, not an issue because once the bumper's unsecured fully, this kind of pushes back in and it bolts into the bumper, and then we're going to get a nice clearance. But for now, this is a little bit more progress on the car, which is great. I've got such a massive gap in this video, and I am so sorry because I've been trying to film YouTube and short form content at the same time, and kind of short form content took priority. It should be YouTube, but I'm sorry. So let me update you where we are with the car right now. So the car is pretty much looking like a normal car again. It looks like a normal ST. I found a new headlight. We've also done a full service on the car. We've got new spark plugs, fresh oil filter, etc, etc. But the issue that I'm having right now is these panel gaps. Look how bad the panel gap is right here, and if we move forward, the line kind of gets thinner. And I think that's because when the car was crashed, it was obviously hit on this side and the bonnet kind of shifted this way. I've tried to play around with the hinges, but I feel like I've made it look a lot worse. Like if we come up here, look at the panel gap right there, it just gets thick and it moves to fitting. I feel like we need new hinges, so I have got new hinges right here at the back in this box. They were black and I'm currently spray painting them. They've got the first coat of white paint on. I need to do a few more coats and then we're going to fit them on the ST. It's going to be an absolute pain doing this because I'm on my own and I'm going to have to take this bonnet off and put it back on. And I think what I'm going to do is completely strip the front. I'm going to take the headlights off, the front bumper off, and align this bonnet with the wings and then put the front bumper on. I feel like that will probably be the best thing to do. And then we'll get the old hinges off, put the new ones on, and hopefully this bonnet will be back in line. If not, I'm gonna need some help. Apparently this paint code, whatever it is, matches the frozen white of this car. I'm not too bothered though, because these are only hinges, so you're not ever gonna see them. So yeah, let's do another coat, and I think these should be okay. It's not ideal the way I'm doing it, but it's only hinges, so we're just going to do a nice even layer across the board. I'm not too bothered about how it comes out. Should be sweet. A few bolts later, I've taken off the cover that's on top of the bonnet. I've also taken the line that supplies the screen wash fluid. That was all simple to do. Obviously, I've got the bumper off, I've got the headlights off, because when this new bonnet goes on, like I said, I want to align it with the wings rather than the bumper. And then we're gonna kind of scoop everything back together. So now the next step is taking this bonnet off, and I'm on my own. I'm gonna have to somehow get this done, but there's 2 screws here, and then there's 2 screws here, and then technically this bonnet should just lift up. Okay, check it out. We've now got the hinges off, the bonnet's completely off, and I originally thought that these hinges would have had to come off after these wings come off, but I managed to squeeze my hand in there, get them out nice. Didn't have to take the wings off. Literally 20-minute, 30-minute job, everything's off. Okay, new hinges are on, hood or bonnet is on, and this side's looking okay. I mean, the panel gaps are still quite big. This is looking okay, but obviously this still needs to get screwed in, so when it's screwed in it should sit like this. But if we go over to the other side, this is when it gets bad. Huge panel gap here. Again, this needs to be screwed in, but I need some adjusting. I need to adjust this bracket in here a little bit more, and then I think we might get something decent. I'm not sure though. Right, so I've given up with trying to adjust this bumper. We've got the hinges on, I've put the bonnet on, but I literally cannot align this whole thing for the, I just can't do it. I'm not good enough. As you can see, we've got gaps here, and it kind of thins out, and this still doesn't sit straight. I mean, I got it to an acceptable level, but this man right here from KM is about to save my life and help make this ST look right again, because right now it's shocking. Like, look at this, look at the panel gap that we've got right here. It's like very thin, and then it gets really thick, and yeah, this isn't meant to be sitting like that, and I've left it quite loose, so you can kind of move it around a little bit. But yeah, we're down at KM, and we're gonna get this ST looking right, because right now it's looking a little bit rough. What's the plan? We're just gonna strip it from the right side.
Strip back, and we start from 0.
Yeah, we're gonna go from the good side and work our way around and see where we get. But we'll keep you updated. And have a look at this. We've actually made this car look so much better. And look at that gap at the front. It's literally perfect. It's like completely even, absolutely perfect. You could even tell this car was in a crash if you were standing from here. It's looking good. It's looking really good. Big shout out to KM Styling for doing this. If you guys need tints, wraps, ambient lights, star lights, you do everything.
Yeah, we do chameleons, ambient stars.
Even bodywork. If you need your panel gap sorted, he might have time to sort you out. This is kind of a one-off, but if you do need stuff sorting like this, make sure to give him a shout and he will sort you out. And just like that, the rebuild series on the crashed ST is now complete. Project this has been, and I've enjoyed every single part of it. There's been ups, there's been downs, but it didn't take very long to get this car back on the road and completely finished. It was a pretty simple rebuild, to be honest with you. And now that the car's completely done, tomorrow I'm already heading down to EcoMax Tuning, and we're going to do a full custom valved exhaust on the ST, and if it's running right, we're also going to be doing a stage 1 tune, so stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you in the next video.